All right, peep, what's going on? Options a Millionaire, 8:33 my time, 9:33 your time. My apologies. Had to make a quick egg breakfast for the kiddos. Ran a little bit longer than anticipated, but I'm here. 3 minutes in, market has gapped up here in pre-market trading. Currently trading at 433.77, right at the top of the range. We rejected 433.97 in pre-market trading, and we're just waiting. All right, I'm just looking around here. Welcome, Henny. What's going on? All right, 433.85, and I've posted my watch list in the OM calls puts room, and I'm looking at the SPY 435s for the July 12th and 431s as the puts. Looking at the deltas here, let's take a look. July 12th deltas. Uh, 0.39, that's right really where I want to keep it in the 435s, and then a little bit lower. I'd probably adjust it to 432 puts. That'll keep it more in line with my delta. So the 432 puts is what I'll adjust it to. And I will go in there now and make that change. Hope everybody had a good evening, a good morning, a good day yesterday. I know a lot of people made a lot of money yesterday. I know we made a great day yesterday with that little 24% win. Definitely playing some calls after the bounce. What's going on, No to be no one? How's it going? Four 434.94 or 434.09 currently on the SPY. And I'm looking at the 3 minute chart here. After a nice big green candle up here. Taking a look around the market, FAANG is pretty much all green with a little bit of red. XLF is big green here, and Qs are a little bit of sell off here on the Qs. Interesting action for sure. Sweet. Nice, Leafy Street. Great job. I had a fantastic 3 day weekend. Stayed away from the computer, stayed away from my phone. It was awesome stuff. Shot a lot of great fireworks with the kiddos. I hope everyone else had a great holiday as well. XLK is a little bit red, kind of mimicking what Qs are doing here. Tesla's down, what, 0.45. SPY is green, hovering around this upper 434.08 level. Alrighty then. That's all right, Henry. There's always opportunities. Always opportunities. All right, everything is nice and bright green. XLF is forming this up a little upward trend here. QQQ is still down at the bottom of their range. Look at the VIX. The VIX sold off from their high of 1651, coming down to 1615. I'll be watching them closely down here. The 3-minute POC is 1610, 1609. So we're a little bit above that. SPY is right up here at the top, 434.15, and new all-time highs. New all-time highs. So definitely come out of the gate swinging. And now to see where we go from there. Busted through all the upper resistance on the uptrend. All right, yeah. The QQQ I'm taking a look at here at the SPX and QQQ to form additional watch lists instead of just the SPY as well. So we'll take a look. We can play not necessarily indicators on the VIX. I'm just really looking at key volume levels and pivots on the VIX. Those are the crucial points on there. All right. So SPY is still hovering up there. QQQ right there smack dab in the middle. Let's see if I could form that watch list. Pretty low volume on those calls here. A lot of volume on the puts. Not so much on the calls. On the Qs. I would say the delta's here 363 calls and 360 puts. All right, there's the Q right there. XLF is big green. XLK is red there. And SPY currently topping out there 430, 410. We've got, 15 minutes until the range forms, give or take. Range currently is 434.18 to 433.89, or 433.39, which is, I don't know, about 60 cents, 40 cents. Ten oh five Eastern. All right, SPY right there. There's the first projection of that upper range, right? Just right, hovering around the all-time highs, a little bit above it, but hovering around right around that area. 434.10 was previous, and then we just busted up there to what 434.20, and coming back down. Yeah, I'm watching. I'm monitoring the premiums all the time, and that's why I want to choose a delta that I'm really familiar with, so I can kind of I'm familiar with the movements of the premium. And then of course I only trade options that are very liquid, which is why I stick to SPY most of the time. Just why I probably won't trade Qs today because the volume is so incredibly low that I don't want there's not much liquidity there, so I probably won't trade those options. And I don't want to go too short, so I'll stick to the SPY there. And yeah, just monitor them up and down. And I've got the options contract, the options chain pulled up here on another screen as I'm talking. So all right, as we're coming right back down to the bottom here, let's see what happens. XLF selling off, and the Qs. Volume is a little not too. I wouldn't say dying off. It's still holding right around this range, so nothing too concerning. VIX is spiking again. I'm gonna take a look at the Titan flow data as well to kind of figure out if there's any block orders going in. Let's take a look on the ETF's Titan flow. Qs right now has everything's low, 3.28 million, 2.5 million in puts on the SPY. 3 point, I mean, it's just low volume. Hardly any block orders at all. Low volume stuff. So, not really the same trading action we've been seeing throughout the late winter and early spring. Now these summer months are obviously slower, but man, it is definitely slower. Usually, I used to see 50 million, 30 million, 10 million in orders, and now it's 3, 2, 1. So just have to do with this low volume stuff. We're right at the 5-minute POC right now. Just a tear below, just a touch below it actually. I do take a look at theta. I don't focus it on too much unless I plan on holding position throughout the day. If it's on a trend day, and I suspect that I might hold a position for an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours, I will take a look at theta. If I'm looking at taking a position quickly, if I expect a scalp, then I won't necessarily focus on this theta. I always take a look at it, but I'll give too much mind to it unless I anticipate a longer move. Maverick, I believe if you choose the right broker, the option chain is free. On E-Trade, You have the options data. I can't attest for any other brokers because I've never used any other one. So I would just say that E-Trade offers it. So in 5 minutes is the jobs report. We'll see what happens there. VIX is 1636, peaked out here. What at that upper 16 level. XLF is getting these big reds here. Q's is right. This is a lower half of their range, and XLK is there. There you go, Strat. Glad I could help. Marcos, it varies. Sometimes I run them for, sometimes I'm in a position for less than a minute. Sometimes I'm in it for an hour. Yesterday was what, 20, 30 minutes, something like that. So it all depends. It all depends on the setup. It all depends on my profit. I have, like I said, I have no problem taking a 20% profit, uh, even if it does miss out on future gains. And if an obvious setup, I'll stay in. But 10 to 20% profit consistently with a higher win rate, I'm happy with that. I trade off the 3 and the 5 minute, never the one, never the one. I'm looking at the 5 minute chart now, so I can just develop trends. Right now, we're bouncing off of the 21 here. All right. The volume for the SPX is pretty low as well on the call side. Puts are much higher, much higher. For the calls, it's pretty low. So I won't be taking any SPX calls today because even on the July 9th, it's only like 179, 181, stuff like that. So position sizing, I mean, you still want to use the same level of position sizing of your risk tolerance as you do at stocks. It's just you're going to yield higher percentage gains. Will Amazon ever come down? You never know. They're at 37.16 now. I'm sure it's because they think there's going to be a split with a new CEO. So we'll see. But Amazon was one of my babies in 2020. I loved Amazon, treated me well. My biggest win, my biggest single day win ever in my career came off of Amazon back in November of 2020. So yeah, they'll fluctuate up and down. There's a lot of volatility in there. Do I think it'll come down necessarily, like a correction? I mean, I think Amazon's always going to be a high valued stock. I think they're going to have to split because they're eventually going to hit $4,000, and not many people can afford a $4,000 share. XLF is hanging out right in the middle of theirs. SPY is smack dab in the middle of theirs. Oh, thanks, Morris. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. All right, so let's take a look. Let's start looking at different levels here. The volume is starting to fall off. We'll see how this candle begins to form. This is the 5-minute chart on SPY. Currently still hovering out right at the 21 EMA on the 5-minute chart. The 34 on the 5-minute is a pretty big indicator. So if it does go down to the 34, I'll be watching closely. And we just popped through it. Let's see what happens here. That's a pretty big candle on the 5-minute. We'll see. XLF has got green. Q's just got sold. SPY is there. So I'll be looking for a bounce here. Well, that's 34 on the EMA here. So 3-minute chart. 34 EMA on the 5-minute chart is pretty stout. I want to start looking at these calls just in case we do get a bounce. SPY July 12th. 435s are $1.03. Implied volatility is currently 8, which is a little low, but it's been that way for a few weeks now, so that's pretty much the new norm. Yikes, Amundo. Popped right through the morning range. Actually, it's forming the new morning. What is going on? Is there news? What happened? Well, I got to bring up CNBC or something. Jobs report. Jobs report. The jobs report is usually not going to move the markets this much, though. Like, unless it's egregiously bad, if it's something really, really bad, it's not going to move this much. So SPY is down here, 433.10. See if we get a bounce off of down here, this 432.92 node. I've got a resistance, a support level down here at 432.52, which is the bottom half of this down here. These calls are currently going for 93 cents a piece. These are the July 12th 435 calls. 33. There's a 0.33 deltas on these. I think we're going to get a rebound from this. It's just that the selling volume wasn't supported all that much, and it's immediately getting bought. So we'll see what happens. VIX is back up to 1667. Yeah, but that was reported last night. Like I read about that. I read about the Haiti president being assassinated last night. So that's not anything new. That shouldn't be affecting it right now. So job openings is 9.20 million versus 9.19. So I mean that's nothing crazy. Here's a 3 minute chart on the SPY. There's XLF. It's starting to climb. Q's another dip right here. XLK the same. Four 33.24 currently right here. All right, QQQ is right here on the bottom. Getting a little bounce. SPY is bouncing off the bottom here a little bit. SXLF here, and the VIX. Let's zoom out just a touch here to see where this VIX was. What's 1667 yesterday? It went all the way up to 18 almost. It was 1794. So I'm gonna type up my watch list here. Not my watch list, but my entry point when I do take one. XLF is on the uptrend. Q's here is getting a bounce there. XLK is there. SPY there. 3 minute chart. There's the 5 minute. You got the pinch on the 8 and 21 here and right at the 34. So what I want to see is a good strong setup for these calls currently trading $1 each on July 12th, 435s. Volume on these is a little over 3,500. So a little decent volume coming in. XLF is there. All right, this is a good key determining point right here. We're at the 821. We just popped through the 34 on the uptrend here on the 8 and the 5 minute chart. XLF is increasing. Qs is getting a little increase. Tesla. Let's take a look at the FAANGs here. Tesla's getting a bounce. Microsoft up. Everything appears to be on the bounce to the upside after that little shake and bake from the jobs report, I would guess. Is it quieter? Let's see if I can turn it up. So 436.69 right on the POC for the 5 minute chart here. Nice little bounce. XLF there. Q's still bouncing pretty good. What's happening with SPY? Well, they just bounced up here. Just shaking and baking, seeing how this thing is going to do. I do, Tony. I do. In addition to my trading portfolio. Actually have two. I've got my investment account for my career, a 401k, TSP, and then I've got my long-term trading account, which I manage myself. So SPY is currently what? 433.70. These are trading at $1.12 each. The lowest I got, I think, was 93 cents. So seeing how this thing plays out here. They've got a volume node right here. The 5 minute charts are right at the POC on the 3 minute chart. You do make more money. That's absolutely right, Alicia. That's absolutely right. Can I walk us through my entry yesterday? Sure. Yeah, it's a great idea, actually. Hold on, let me take a look here. Let me make sure things are common out and cells. Go back to yesterday and go through the entry. Q's there. XLK is the top of their range. XLF right here. So far it's going to be a nice little trend day. We'll see how this thing works. If it goes to the top of the range or falls back down. All right, so we were down here. Hold on one second. Let me look. Yeah, the 1 minute just doesn't take any trends. It's too jumpy. It gives you a lot of can give you false entries, especially if you're using the EMAs. Now the EMAs use longer observations, and the 1 minute is just a short thing, so it doesn't take any trends. Moves around a little too quick for me, and it gives me more false readings than it does good. So, all right. So yesterday entry here. All right. So I watched this thing go down all day. I didn't really feel comfortable playing any puts, although there were plenty of opportunities to play puts. Just me personally, it's just one of those days. Just didn't want to play puts. So eventually, I started to see the EMA start to round. I see the volume dying off. I see the VIX. It was spiking, spiking, spiking. I see it finally start to hit that little top of the range here, and then I start to see the XLF start to rebound. I start to see the XLF starting to finally flatten out and curve up, and I figured it was uh, the end of the downtrend. Things went down aggressively, peaked up, came down again, and then started flattening it out. Flatten it out here. Then once I started to see the 8 EMA start to flatten and then start to curl up, I thought, okay, we've already had a pretty large drop. No real news, is just selling volume coming in here. So I elected that on this first green candle through the 8, I was going to take a position. So I didn't take a position till about here is what I think is where I took my position. Crossed through the 8, the 8 EMA started to, the price crossed through the top. The 8 EMA started to curl upwards, and I elected to take a position here, and I closed up here where the red candle started to form. That's where it started to flatten out. I didn't want to risk it falling back again to the low levels and going down, it being a bearish day. Obviously, we went on to have a lot more of a V recovery, and I missed out on a ton of gains, but I still got a 24% gain. I'm very happy with. I have no regrets at all. I'll take those all day long. So I bought here on the up curl, and I sold on the first big red candle, and I was happy with that. Plus, I started to see the dark candles here on the squeeze Momo and on the VIX as a right, but could be a potential reversal to the downside again. That's why I elected to close that position. Good question though. So after that little dip, not really too much going on at the moment. Thanks, DT3. Appreciate it. If they were smaller red candles and things didn't look like a potential reversal, you got to be careful. Yes, in hindsight, it was a V recovery, and you saw that. But when you've got that much heavy volume, you got to be careful that it doesn't just reverse and sell back right back off. And that's what I was just being careful. 24%, I was up a lot of money. 24% is fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so successful is because I don't stretch for the 40, 50 percenters. Yesterday, I would have held on and probably would have got a 60% win. But other times, it'll go back and I'll get nothing or I'll lose money. So I'll take the 24% all day long. You have to look at the averages, the law of averages and the long-term gains. And it's all about managing that. And I'm perfectly happy with that. And I was happy with the exit because I went by a thesis. If I just exited purely because I was scared, that's not a good exit. If I exited because I put together a plan and I had a reason behind it, obviously it kept on going up. It is what it is, 24%. So, Paul, I just didn't, it's just one of those days. I just didn't feel puts. It's all about my mind was fighting it. I didn't anticipate that big of a downtrend, so I just didn't catch it. One of those things. Hey, little red candle there on the SPY same thing, XLF. Glad I didn't take those calls, chase them up to the top. SPY's coming back down. Yeah, and Alicia, last week, although I did very well last week. I had a lot of great wins. I was fighting it. I played a lot of puts. I made good money. There were a lot of small wins. Uh, Definitely not as successful as I could have been because I played calls, and I think that kind of came into yesterday's reasoning. Is that I'm obvious. I had a bias towards puts last week, and I wanted to kind of break that. So that's probably one of the reasons. It's all about. That's why I'm saying like this game is all emotional. You could have the best setup in the world, and it's all about your emotions. So I wanted to play the bounce, and that's what I did, and it worked out very well. So don't fight your emotions. If you've got emotions, don't fight it. Just play to it. Manage those emotions. Q's coming down. XLF is coming down here. VIX back up. Broke day's highs. Headed over to yesterday, which were at 1672. Interesting day. So let's start looking to the 1 month chart. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right, so we began this run on June 18th. So what? About a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we started this run. Now let's look back. So 405.34. This is back on May 19th. We began this second run. We came up here. We had a big dip intraday, and we gained it back up, and then we fell back down again before sideways chop. So don't anticipate we find more climbing here, more strength to the upside here without a little consolidation. So always look to the historics to see how the price reacted after a large bull run, which we've had. We've had this crazy bull run on no volume. Bam. Went for 413.60 and dropping under the 50 MA on the 1 year chart all the way up to 434.10 and now 434.20 or something crazy like that. So we had this big sell off, a little bit, almost a full recovery. And then today it looks like it's going to get a little sideways for at least the time being. Oh, popped through the morning range. That's some interesting action. Interesting action right there. Thanks, Alicia. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Man, I love when y'all start using good terminology. I'm seeing more and more people talk about the volume at price, the POCs, the session ranges. Like they're actually being analytical traders, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I love when y'all learn. Makes me happy. XLK is there. Tesla is down another 2.5. Man, they're always up or down 2%. They're never like treading water. Tesla's usually up or they're down big. Crazy stuff. Oh, big sell by the SPY down here. 432.65. Support levels. I've got 432.52, which had just broke, and then 431.90 would be the next one, which is down here. Well, not yet, because we just broke through the session range. We just broke through the lower half of the range here. Now you want to make sure we want to make sure that we don't get a mean reversion, which is you coming right back into the range. So I'm going to kind of wait it out here, see what happens if we scale down. Maybe this is a trend day. Maybe it is a trend day to the downside. But if we get some green and bounce back into the session and climb back in, then that's just a reversion back to the mean. That's all that is. Good time to look at the volume though. Big selling volume, big selling volume. Sellers are definitely dominating the day so far. Eventually we will running sticks, in my opinion. Eventually we will. Nice, Bob blah blah. Great job. All right, so down here, 432.68. 432.45 right here. TLT is up. Bonds are getting a bid. XLF and QQQ are down. VIX is still climbing 1712. I keep thinking you say blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Big spike on the VIX. Selling volume is definitely picking up here on the SPY. And if this doesn't come back into the session ranges, I will change my thesis on taking some calls for a bounce. And this could potentially turn into another downtrend day and come back down and pop through the supports. So we'll see here. Tech is not all that strong. Tesla's up 2.1 or down 2.1. Netflix is down 1%. Everything else is mixed. Apple's the strongest one of the bunch. Well, I don't think they're going to say anything in the minutes that's going to be market worthy in terms of having a huge sell off. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens, though. There's a link to the server, the Discord server, if you are new to it. SPY is getting a little bit of a bounce there. XLF QQQ is there. What will it take for me to go short? All right, good question. All right, so we're down here below the session range. We've popped through this volume node here. We've popped through, obviously, the bottom of the session range. The POC on the 5 minutes way up here. So I would want to see this thing sell off, and I want to see this down here. Having this big selling volume is good for puts. This is bearish to me. So that means sellers are stepping in here. We'll see how this candle, if this candle gets sold off on some volume, I'll consider looking at puts. Because then we have some downside here. The squeeze moment was already firing. So good question. Nope, there are no bad questions. Let them fly. Let them fly. All right, so this candle's getting wicked out, but look, you got this larger buying candle. It's growing. We'll see how that happens. And it's getting wicked out. We got this doji forming, which is bearish. That is not a good sign for calls. XLF, however, is getting to bounce back into their range. Q is getting sold. XLK is getting sold. VIX. Got that one. That one got sold off here at 1721, but now they're flip green again. It's firing on the squeeze Momo. Now we're just waiting. XLF is climbing back into their range. Q's there. Selling off. SPY is there. So this is a very defining candle. A defining candle. And it's sold off. All right, now I'm going to start to consider puts. 5 minutes looking super bearish. 3 minutes even more. Just coming all in. So Q's at 359.51. SPY is 431.91 right here. And we're just waiting for this right here. So VIX is 1741. They are above their range here. It's yesterday's morning range. That's the weird time though. SPY is down here for 431.80. I want to start looking at supports. 431.90 is at my last support, and it's just popping through that. Volume is here, just crushing it. And it's just blasted through all my supports. So it's filled the gap from the morning jump. All right, here's the first big volume node other than the POC, which is a big sticker point. You can see it's bouncing right off of it. You got this green candle right here. SPY is right here. You got this volume node, which is the bottom of the afternoon range here, which is 431. So alrighty. There's the Q's getting that bounce. SPY just above the node. Just above the node. I'll be watching this little volume right here. VIX big candle on the red. I think it might be time for a bounce here. We'll see. XLF. All right, I am actually, let's see here. All right, XLF is increasing big time. QQQ is still getting a bounce there. XLF VIX, big sell here on the VIX. SPY is there, crossing back up 3. There's a 5. I think we may actually get a bounce here. This is enough supported volume here and everything else. The finances is getting a bid. Tech sector is getting a bid up. VIX is getting a big red candle, the biggest red candle we've had in a long time. So I think we might be getting a bounce here back to the session range. and I might take some calls here on a potential bounce. Let me see what this candle closes at, and we will go from here. I've got the 435 July 12th puts, or I'm sorry, the calls chambered. Nice, Chris. That's a fantastic book. Yeah, Travis. So that VIX is the biggest red candle I've seen in a while. Look at that on the 5 minute chart here. So we'll see what happens here. There's a 3 minute chart right out the ADMA here. What I don't want to get caught here is a bull trap. Yeah, definitely some good volume today for sure. That there. All right, VIX has got that red almost to a point of calls here. I just want to see a little more follow through with this before I start jumping in some calls. I want to make sure this doesn't get waylaid with a red candle. If the buyers don't step in here, then that's going to be a bearish indicator. So we're at a decision point. Does it want to come back and revert to the mean, or are we going to have a trend day today? Yep, I do, Chris. I do. The volume here is what I'm looking at. So the volume is low on the volume side, so I'm not too crazy to jump in calls here because of this. This is what I'm looking at right here. We've got some upward price, but look at this. There's no volume. I don't want this thing getting sold off. All right, let's see here. XLF is there. VIX is there. Falling. Hold on a second. Stand by. Hold on a second. So things are starting to look like a bounce, but I'm looking at this volume here. So things are looking in the right direction. The squeeze momentum is definitely coming to the flat here. You've got some green here, but let's see how this candle reacts. Thanks, Ro. Appreciate it. VIX is still falling. Qs are still increasing. XLK is there. The volume is starting to pick up a touch. Not on the SPY though. SPY is still red there. Alrighty. Ooh, big sell in the XLF there. Q's still there. Right on the POC here on the Q's, and VIX is right here on the top of their range. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. There's just not enough volume here to really get conviction about anything. There's that. There's the VIX still decreasing, which is bullish, but there's just no volume to support here. I mean, one little sell order, and you can wipe all this out. And it's all about playing the probabilities. Playing the probabilities. And there you go. All right, so that little red sell-off was bought back up here. That's a good sign. Things want to go up. VIX is still green there. Oh, all right. Stand by. Just watching close. Just watching close here. All right, so look at the XLK volume there. Q's volume is red there, and SPY back to red. So we're not getting back to the range. We're not getting back to the even POC. So and some more sideways chop. All right, so SPY, that's getting this little candle's flipping back and forth here. XLF, big green on the XLF. Bonds here are starting to fall a touch. XLK is there. And the VIX is fluttering about here. Not much going on at the moment. All right, so it's hovered right on this 3-minute volume node here. Let's go out to the 1 month to kind of look at things. Hovering right at the volume node here on the 1 month, which is 432. The big one, 432.53. That's because of this little consolidation we've had the past few days. We've got a bigger one down here at 430.28, which we saw it bounce off right there. So that was a key indicator. Here's the 5-day, which is popping right here at the 432.72. Q is coming down. XLF is going up. XLK is down as well. SPY is still hanging on. All right, 432.71. SPY immediately gained all that back a little bit here. XLF continue to go. Q's here getting a little double bounce. VIX still falling. And there we go. Looks like if we come back into the range, it'll be back to being a range day. No more trend, which it never was a trend because we had this green and it came back up. So we'll see if we have the mean reversion. VIX is still falling. It's almost time for a call entry here. As long as it can hold the POC. As long as we can hold the POC. All right, here we go. Let's see what this happens here. All right, so we finally got the Italian pinch here, the 8:21 on the 3 minute. Let's go to the 5. Right here is about to have that, and right entering back into the session ranges, which we are back to the mean reversion. And it's came on back. So more chop for the rest. All right, and the SPY here. Oh, that's just a funny. This is a funny thing I made up a long time ago that kind of stuck. 8 and 21. When that comes together like that, it kind of makes that pinching motion with the fingers. That's what I call it, the Italian pinch. 8 and 21. So those are converging and heading up. We'll see where those things go. Qs are consolidated. Yep. It depends, Johnny. It depends. 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I was trading 100 contract lots, 250 lots, 200 lots. It all depends on my confidence in the particular setup. Those are smaller positions. And I think that's why I did so well, because I just decided to go with smaller positions. I was cranking them out, and it reduced the amount of stress, and I was able to enter and exit appropriately. So it all depends. Sometimes I go more. If I have a big setup on SPX that I like, I'll take a larger position. Got to start somewhere, Nicole. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been doing this a long time. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to have it on there. My bad. Just eight. Just eight. Good pointing. Just the eight. All right, you got to cross up here at the 8 and 21. QQQ is here. XLF is here. Way on up. VIX is still falling. I may take some calls here and ride this back up. We're currently back into the range. 8 and 21 are crossing up. We might have to up more upside to the top. That's why I trade SPX. I trade a lot of SPX in the background and stuff to reduce my commission fees. But you can talk to your broker and negotiate lower fees if you do a lot of trades. But yeah, I was getting walloped on SPY commissions. I think I paid what 2 weeks ago. Although I made 50 grand, I mean I paid almost $1,800 in commissions throughout the whole week. So I mean it adds up. That's why I negotiated with E Trade to get my commissions down, and I trade SPX a lot too. Financial sector is beasting. XLF is absolutely beasting. Crossover in the 8 and 21, did the upside in the 3-minute chart. Let's go to the 5. There's the 5 VIX there. I got them down to 50 cents. Got them down to 50 cents, which is still, a little high, but it is what it is. Yep. Yeah, good job, Warhorse. Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It's called the active trader status. And that's the lowest I can get them down to, even though I trade, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of contracts a year. They will not lower them any more than 50 cents. So all right, Q's and K and XLK getting down. SPY is still climbing. Still climbing. Yep, yep. I always had to call customer service. Yep. And they're great. They're great. They're great. I know back in the summertime, it was terrible to get through to E-Trade, but recently they've been a lot better. You can get onto them pretty quick. Tomatoes are fantastic. I actually just harvested my first big harvest this week. They started finally turning red. Fantastic. Got to make my tomato sandwiches and start making my gravy. Good stuff. There you go. Although there is a something called tomato gravy that's like a southern thing, but I mean like pasta sauce. Some people call it gravy. I call it gravy. Yes, you can. You can follow it, even though I'm sure some northerners in here can tell you what some tomato gravy, what actual gravy is. All right. Anyway, it's 10:30. Usually I don't get off till 11, but I've got something I got to run and do, so I got to sign off here 30 minutes early. However, I am going to be maintaining Discord a lot and just keep an eye on things here, especially as we've gotten back into the range. It'll be interesting to see if we go back up to the 434 area and go on for there. The volume is still decreasing here, so there's not a lot of conviction. I'm not in any hurry to take a position today. I like to play it cautious, especially in these levels here. So anyway, it is 10:30 my time, 11:30 Eastern. A few minutes too, actually. I'll be still modern. If you have anything, any questions at all, anything for me, just at me in any of the Discord rooms that you want to talk about at OptionsMillionaire, or you can shoot me a DM. I think we got a lot of people in here, up to 60, a little over 6,400 people now. So we've grown 1,000 people in about a week and a half. So I get a lot of DMs. So bear with me if I don't respond to you immediately. I've got to sort through a lot of DMs and answer people. A lot of people have a lot of questions. So just bear with me. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for taking the time to trade with me and to ask questions. A lot of questions asked today. I love it. Keep it coming. Books. The big question is books. Make sure you get your hands on the volume price analysis book by Anna Coling. It's a fantastic book. And begin reading that, and you'll really understand a lot of what I say and what my strategy is. So anyway, thank y'all for being here. I will see you back on the live stream again Friday morning. If you're a Patreon member, I will see you tomorrow on the Patreon chat. And of course, you can also hit me up in the Discord. So thank y'all for being here. I'm out of here.